It is a real pleasure for me to introduce the next two poets who are, as far as I can remember, our two youngest poets to ever represent the youth voice. And they have the best first grade teacher in the world. If I had a time machine, I would go back and be in Ron Buchanan's first grade class. So every time that they're given free choice, they have freely chosen to come to the library, because I am their librarian, and do poetry. And what has happened past the poetry lesson time is that they bring all of the writing that they've done independently for the previous week, and they share it with me. Nice. So, up to the mic, I'd like you to give a warm welcome to Miss Evelyn McCurdy, a first grader from Creative Arts Charter School.
This is my poems by Evelyn Evie Campione McCurdy. I made them myself. No one else gave me the ideas. I read a poem, I liked it. There once was a little girl. The little girl had a great time. The days are sometimes sunny, the days are sometimes rainy, but I still have fun. This is EK's favorite. I cried my prayer, it said, good time to die, please God keep me and my family safe.
And our youngest reader of the evening, also from Ron's first grade at Creative Arts, I'd like to introduce Miss Zimri Rucker. Give a nice big hand for Zimri.
Little flower blowing in the wind, what kind of flower could you really be? I stare at the moon, I think to myself how little it is, then I close my eyes and went to sleep and had wonderful dreams.
I am inspired by the writing life of these young people, and I have some older young people who I'd like to introduce next from Wallenberg High School. If you would please give a warm welcome to the poet, Jennifer Cadenas.
I go through my life holding the idea of God to my heart, for when there's nothing left, there is hope. Not everything is strictly black and white. I might use those colors for drawing in my notebook, but I also use bright reds. The reds of all times I fell on the playground, the blues of all times I wept, the green hill I wake up to every morning, the yellow sunflower my mom planted, the violet colored dress I want to create in the future. Given that I've always felt safe in the darkness, but every time I think of hope, it's white. It's contradicting, but a persistent issue. It's not politics, religion, community, ethnicity, not gender, countries, or states. It doesn't have boundaries. It can spark and glow like fire, inspire as easily as laughter. It may take a while, or ages, but it will surely come, lifting those who need it most, or those who have lost their way. I want to inspire others. I want to make people think. I want to be that hope when I lose everything, because I surely will one day. That hope will be there, holding me and carrying me on.
Thank you, Jennifer. Please put your hands together, also from Wallenberg High School, Amy Johnson.
The lonesome road. Never has the sky been so gray, the sun so dull, the wind so harsh, the earth so cold. Never have so many people piled the streets, yet seem so far, their eyes so dim, their hearts so hard, their minds so closed. Never had I had to walk such a lonesome road. Inside a crowded room, I shrink back into myself, a defense mechanism to protect myself from the people my mind seems to regard as monsters. My body is present, yet my mind is far. For some reason, time with friends and family, which should be a time of relaxing joy, turns into a place of confinement and anxiety. My shyness as a child never did go away, like it was supposed to. Instead, it morphed into a large shell that has consumed me. I have embraced this shell as a place of safety, a part of myself, pushing away friends, family, strangers, and classmates. I used to blame others for my isolation. However, I was the one who refused consolation. I chose this path, I chose this life. Yet I continue to blame others for my plight. I have confined myself to this lonesome road.
Are there any other poets in the room who have ever felt exactly like that? Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, thank you. See, you found your people, Amy. All right, next up to the mic, John King, poet from Wallenberg High School. Let's give a nice warm welcome.
Everyone has scroll moments at least once in their life. It's natural. And although we as a society point out when someone has one of these moments, thanks up, but sometimes we deny it when we are the ones being called out on it. Scroll. I find it strange, but it's all about not being embarrassed. But that's the thing I don't understand, since I'm open about having ADD. Scroll. And I'm being treated, I accept the occasional scroll moment. So it's a foreign concept to me that someone would be embarrassed over having a scroll moment. Scroll.
John. All right. Now my next two poets are from Mission High School. They're coming from the other direction, everybody. So, all right. So let's give a nice warm welcome to a young man who's been doing poetry for a few years now. Gerardo, come on. Nice to meet you.
I looked outside my window the other day and I saw your shadow. The dim light on the street corner caught your presence when nobody else was looking. The silence in the laundromat underneath it mimicked your footsteps as you left at 6:27 a.m. I heard the crack in the door, or was that your heart, trying to recover from last night after you heard my sister ask if you still loved us? They say the word is power, so we listened to your I love yous as if exiting through a double barrel, but in 4th grade they told us actions speak louder than words, so after you missed 5th grade graduation, I now take them as I'm sorry I wasn't there, or I'm sorry I can't make it, and right. And even growing up, the mysterious marks always seem to last longer than your presence, your fragrance. No longer smells like the bottle I got you for Christmas. I'm hoping you used it. Not just tossed out the window like the opportunities you've had to bond with me. Like I said, actions speak louder than words. I feel that your actions have been misdirected, took a wrong turn on the way home only to find yourself at someone else's doorsteps. You come home after hours trying to blend in with the night so cold something's not right and you try and speak to me. But you left my respect at her doormat before you walked in. We've been through this before. When I saw her in your car at 826, it turned the one happy place I had and flipped it upside down. No longer my nirvana, something like a nightmare. I wanted to wake up, wake up. I knew you couldn't do this to us again. I tried fitting the pieces together like you did, those memories of your dad, but like those, you kept breaking them, forcing ourselves to forget. You mysteriously mislead misconceptions far too often to know what's real, like the work of Maybelline. You try and make this shit look pretty. But underneath, like their skin, my trust is deteriorating. I know who will be there when you run out of air from the cheap liquor you drown yourself in. But before passing out, you tap into nostalgia. Tell me about how when you were little, you said you'd never be the very same thing you became. It's that same irony that shows its presence when you say you won't leave us because you want us to remember you, but even though when all we will remember is your absence.
Thanks, Mario. All right, put your hands together. Poet from Mission High School, Connor Maltby.
You give me lullabies like soliloquies, your drunken tangents sloshing on the carpet, trailing you and soaking it, as if nobody else has to walk in your footsteps. It's 3 a.m. and you're plastered, but somehow still awake, and I'm sitting down the hall, drowning. I pray you'll go to sleep and cease your brutal speech. Blood runs thicker than water is a phrase often used to banish any doubt about the real love of a family. What most don't know is that it's a manipulation dating back to 1492, when John Legates wrote that the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Now I have made no such covenant with you, Father, and yet this pain is evident. He tucks me in on a bed of nails, words leaving the shores of his tongue like frigates, but he doesn't know the damage he's causing as I cry myself to sleep, and you tell yourself that you're not even worth it. And I'm brought back to all the times that you told me, when my heart was laid out bare, to stop feeling sorry for myself. Now that's the type of role reversal that'll murder a childhood, because finding out that my parents are just as flawed as anybody else was the hardest part of growing up. And you put my childhood to rest that night when I had to walk you home from the bar, your legs playing whack-a-mole with the ground so you won't fall over. With my arm around your shoulder, I could have treated it as some fatherly bonding. If you hadn't started talking. With every bob and weave to counterweight your stumbles, you must have slurred up speech like, Connor, how could you be so nice to me? What have I done to deserve your patience? Each time he asks adds another ounce of pressure to the realization that no number of generic "because I love yous" could ever cover the fact that the only honest answer I had was, we'll talk tomorrow. You woke up the next morning and cooked me eggs. You said the last thing you remember is walking home, alone. I didn't tell him how he had cursed at himself in his room. I didn't mention the way he pleaded with me to give him an answer. The 27 times he said, I love you, and the 48 times he said he hates himself in an hour will never reach his ears. I told him we'd talk tomorrow. The best I could manage was, I'm glad you got home safe. Sorry.